Testing. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Hey. Hey there. Let's turn off this tire. Let's turn off this starting soon. All right. Welcome to the party, people. If you're coming here for some fast-paced excitement, you've come to the wrong place. I'm going to do some demos tonight for some classes I am teaching. It should be a good time. Should be a good time had by all. First of all, I'm going to play a level, though. I'm going to play a level from a student that I promised to play their level live on Twitch. It's one of my students for the location study. One of the assignments we did a few weeks ago asked me to pretty please, with a cherry on top, play it on stream, and so I'm going to. And then after that, we're going to be doing some simple Unreal demos. I'm doing a recording here so that I can save it for posterity. But we're going to be setting up the to set up with the basic 2D side scroller template. I've got a 2-week project that my students are going to be doing. We were studying 2D games last week, so we're going to set up a 2D 3D 2D 3D the 2D side scroller template in Unreal, and just go over some simple blueprints, setting up a moving platform and how to create that modularly so you don't have to reset up the code. And then we're going to use the same blueprints as that to create a moving enemy that will reset the game when you touch it. So trying to keep the logic very simple to start out with, kind of baby stepping it along, creating a ladder of complexity, a ramping of difficulty as you will. But yeah, we're going to do that. That is the plan for today. A recording outside of class because I went long during class. So here we go. Before we get started, I'm actually gonna mention it on Slack, on my work Slack. I'm gonna advertise a little bit. Hope you all don't mind. Everyone, welcome to the channel. Okay. I think I spelled my name wrong. There we go. To anybody viewing, welcome to the party. I just went over what we're doing, but I'll continue to chat as we go on. This may not be the action-packed Mario Maker type of gameplay you're used to, but maybe this is better. Maybe this is better. I don't know. It might be worse. It might be better. I'm gonna turn on my check out my Facebooks. Fun fact: I hear Facebook is changing their name. Actually, I hear they're changing Facebook, the holding company, to a different name. I think Facebook will still be called the same as it ever was. I'm gonna message a few Discords. I'm gonna message my Discord. Okay. I know everyone's loving this. I am the best host, the host with the most, creating the posts. Okay, there we go. There we go. That's feeling better. That's feeling better. All right. All right, viewers, let's go. So first of all, we're going to play a location study by one of my students. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Made in Unreal Engine based off of a location in Utah. An undisclosed location. This is one of the first projects of my level design course. The idea is that the students go off, they visit a location, they take notes, do a little research, find out what would make it cool level, and then they gray box that in Unreal Engine using the third person template. The idea that the only mechanic they're allowed to use is walking, so no jumping. So the idea behind this, if you can make a compelling emotional environment only using block out geometry without any cool platforming or any fancy mechanics. If you can make that compelling, you can make anything compelling. So here we go. We're going to check it out. Get rid of the allow access phony baloney there. There we go. All right. So first person. This student went first person. All right. First of all, looks like I'm in an underground cave. There's a window up top. I like the use of the geometry right off the bat. I'm facing this coin, so I want to run right for it. And I'm trying to figure out what's hanging on the wall. They look like weapons. And if I'm not mistaken, they are guns. Lots of guns. Okay, so this is a library full of guns in a cave. Okay, so cylinder over there. All right, weapons. Nice coin sound on the pickup. Nice use of space here with these green paths, so really directing the player to run around. Looks like I have a choice down there. Some coins down over the bridge. I'm wondering what they overlook. So implied space is the word I'm looking for with these green pathways. They do a great job of helping me navigate around the space. That is something to pay attention to. The leading lines, very helpful. That looks like I can fire my little tennis balls into the abyss. Interesting. I thought by default they had some sound to them. So the shape language in the background, they kind of look like tanks, but I'm not sure. So there was a bridge on this side and a bridge on this side. It looks like a bunch of weapons inside here. That looks like a TV screen, kind of that landmark over there. Let's look over the bridge. And I can jump even though I'm not supposed to, so I just wanted to see what was off in the abyss. The lighting looks nice over there, kind of draws my eye over there to the left. Helicopter, that's what it was. Very cool. I like the block out helicopter. The glass on it is interesting. A tank over here. So my guess is this is the War Museum up near campus. Great job with the tables and chairs. Knocking some of them over actually makes me not want to walk around this side. Nice use of space here. Really breaks up the space within here. And also having some of them knocked over and kind of sitting off the side really gives it a feel of a real like people have been there and kind of ran. Builds the space that you have to walk around. Here's the BFG, the really big ever-loving gun, which looks awesome. I wish I could use it. Okay, we're going to keep passing on through here. So we have all the tanks. This is the coin, kind of a big circle, multi-path section. I like this block out. I'm wondering what these guns are pointed at, if there's a purpose to that, or if they're just off on display. I think the large-scale block out is described really well. Burby TV said they did put the sound, but you disabled it. Awesome. Probably a good choice. So the large block out of shapes is really good. So the chairs, the tables, all of that creates kind of that medium definition. The green pathing around the first really gave some awesome implied space. I am wondering, like at this point going on, maybe some railings around these edges and trying to indicate like what kind of a space this is other than that. Any kind of like really blocking out some trash cans or doing something to lead the player through would help. So you kind of always look at the scope of the, even with the block out, you look at the large brush strokes, the medium brush strokes, and the small brush strokes. So this looks like a good pass of the large and medium. But I would love like some of those smaller brush strokes to help push that detail. And even like when we were playing Metroid Dread the other day, they put those nice touches, like even a cable or a conduit that kind of would help like lead into some of these doors and different areas. Even putting a frame around this door, anything around it that kind of signify extra incentive to walk through this section would be super helpful. This is great use of space in here. This is cool. Once again, even putting up some like railings on the side here. So, and this is just from my nitpicky standpoint, but this is fascinating because the stairs, the steps, an architect would never, I don't think they would ever build a room like this where you would step off the side of steps to get into this space. So this space is, while it indicates that there are chairs and tables and kind of the window there, it doesn't look like it's meant to be walked into, which is interesting. And even putting some railings up on this side would really change the vibe. And if this flattened out or even had a flat space here with then some steps going down, kind of picky, I know what you're thinking. That's really picky, but those would have been those nice touches. Up here, you can see the conduits that I was talking about. Speak of the devil. Notice this is awesome. These nice, huge green lit cylinders. When we always talk about humans naturally, we're like flies. We're drawn to lights just like flies and mosquitoes are. So already I'm drawn and my interest is piqued on what the heck these things are. And great use of leading lines. These pipes come off of it, lead right down into this direction. And they also make me intrigued to find out what is down this way, kind of send me back down. So there's nothing there, but they did lead me back to this door, which kind of loops around. So I could have gone either way, which is awesome, multi-pathing. And this, if I'd come through this door, these pipes, these conduits would have led me straight to that mechanism, which you had the same thing on the other side. So really good job on that. And then we have, once again, the path in the middle leading me down through these ominous pillars that get darker as I go through, kind of creepy, to that broken window. This is awesome right here. So check this out. We've got the framing of these two green pillars that lead my eyes directly through the broken section of the wall to a caged area with a coin. So really good use of framing the eyes on the location that you want me to go and kind of discover. So I look here to the right, I see more lit canisters. It doesn't look like I can progress this way, but I know now that I need to get up there and I can't jump. So that's where I want to go. And this is death off to the side. So even putting some implied like banister or kind of lip on that geometry will help indicate to me that I shouldn't go that way, which can be helpful. So I have to wonder, this whole space was symmetrical, so I could go left or right on either one. So you see here, that red light kind of makes me feel like I shouldn't go that way, while this side feels more inviting. So I'm tempted to go the way I shouldn't go first, but we're going to go the inviting way, which you can see it has a red canister on the sides too. So we're going to go this way. Nice use of space in here. This big green floor space really breaks it up well. Really nice level. But once again, I think you really did a great job with the large and medium brushstrokes on this. It's really telling a story. So here's that broken cage we were talking about. Much more implied space here. All these, I'm assuming couches maybe? So these are chairs. So, okay. So it's kind of like a church style motif. And I'm going to jump up these even though I know I shouldn't. There should be some ramps just to take us up to them. And you have to wonder just what the heck was going on. What was going on in this cage? So something broke out. Jumped through the glass. This leads me right back into here. Oh, and this ramped up. Nice. So was that the final coin right there that I should get? I'm not sure. I kind of want to go check out the scary space over here. We're going to go take a look. If these are chairs, they're huge. They're massive. They look like they're like the armrest usually would be about hip height if it was normal. Okay, that door's closed off. So now I need to know what that red blinking area was. So I have to backtrack a little bit. And the question is, can I jump? I know I'm not supposed to, but can I jump to the section below? And I think I can. Yes, I can. Okay, so that was a shortcut because I didn't want to walk back around. We're going to check out the red blinking section. I feel like a monster's going to pop out. Got those spheres kind of flashing. This is great for the seizure-inducing section here. Coins are sending me around, as they should. Okay, so that would have taken me up to that center place, but it's closed off. So is there anything else in here? I cannot see anymore. Okay, so it looks like that's it. This is too dark for me to see anything. Now I am totally lost. Totally. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Oh, I'm stuck somewhere. Stuck in that chair. Can I go? Let's go past this screen. Okay, now I can't see again. Okay, so I am dark. So I'm assuming this was not the way to go, that I would have gone and seen that door and come back through the center, please. It's Pocket Lint says, I've been lurking for a few minutes and this is actually very interesting and cool. It's Pocket Lint. I'm glad you could stop by. Yeah, from time to time, I really like playing my level design students' creations. Level design is art. But yeah, this is really cool. Burby, did I make it through the entire level? How did I miss this coin? That is weird. Was this... Huh, I must have just walked past it for some weird reason. All right. Really nice work. Hopefully you got some good feedback, Burby. And yeah, watch the VOD for more specific. But that should be some feedback. One of the things, Pocket Lint, that I tell my students and even really anyone, that when you're watching a playtest, or even if it's someone who is trying to give you feedback and playtest your level, you have to listen to the things they say, but also the things they don't, because you're the person that designed it. And so you always have to ask yourself, is this person playing it in the way that you intended, in the way that you designed? If not, how can you adjust the design to make them follow the pathing, or maybe make some of the game more readable than you intended? But I do try to do the think aloud method, to talk about everything I'm thinking as I'm playing, as I go through it. But Burby, awesome. Have fun in your League of Legends game. And yeah, the VOD will be up on the what's it called? Up on the video section, I guess. Okay. So now, next on the agenda, I'm going to adjust my stream info here. Next on the agenda, we're going to pop open Unreal Engine, and we're going to make some platforms and simple enemies. My students now are working on a simple 2D platforming level. That's their assignment for the next 2 weeks. And I am a long-winded fellow, so I ended up talking way too long during level design class earlier today, and I didn't get to the demo section. So one of the things for the next assignment, I'm having my students break down an existing 2D platformer or 2D side scroller, and break down what makes that level tick, the ramping of difficulty, the variety, how they teach game mechanics, etc. And then I'm giving them 2 weeks to convert that or make a 2D Unreal Engine gray box level inspired by that. And so one of the things I don't want my students to focus on is too much time building out blueprints, building out that new mechanic, because honestly, in 2 weeks, that can take a lot of time. And what I really want my students to focus on is the environment and the feel and the mood of the actual space within that side scroller. So I did create some parameters. I'm going over how to make simple moving platforms, some simple enemies, just so they can prototype that in quickly and get to the meat of level design, which is building out the space. Pocket Lint said, dude, that's so much fun. Yeah, if people like this kind of stuff, I typically, I do a lot of gameplay testing of my student games and levels. I don't usually do as much of this demo stuff. But it is something I've wanted to do more. And Twitch just came up with some new software and game development tags, which is kind of cool. So we're going to start out. So any of my students watching the demo that I should have done in class for this assignment, like I said, I am having the students just use the basic side scroller template within Unreal as the starting point for this. One of the things I tell my students all the time is rules are meant to be broken. So I have a lot of students who say, Professor, I am more comfortable with Unity. I'd rather make a side scroller game in Unity because I'm much faster at it. To which I say, awesome, do that. For students that really want to dive a little bit more into blueprints because they're more familiar, maybe they want to do some wall jumping, etc. I say do that, but hopefully the goal for this project is next week to bring a base block out version of that level so that we can do playtesting in class, get some feedback, have one more week to work on it, and then submit it in 2 weeks. It's a very short project because the final project for this class, I wanted to leave enough time, which is a month long, which I give my students a lot more leeway in what they create. So they could actually do another 2D level in Unreal, or they could do something else. So really the space is king. Burby TV says, oh, this is a sneak peek for tomorrow's class. It really is. So this is, I went too long in my class earlier today in the second section of the class. And so I told them I would make some videos for it tonight. So I'm up late because I love my students. It's Pocket said, so do you also teach coding, or is this mainly about level designing with existing coding skills? I teach coding, so that's what I'm going to do tonight. Essentially, I use Blueprints, so it's visual scripting. I don't teach coding. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know. I don't know like C+ or C# or any of the coding languages well enough to teach it. But for 10 years at Disney, I did use visual scripting, so I'm much more comfortable for that. So let's crack open Unreal Engine. I'll just talk through this as I go, and hopefully it's helpful. But we're going to go over just setting a basic moving platform that moves back, and I want to set up some variables so I can adjust the start and end position of that platform in game and create instances of that, so I don't have to recreate the code. So, so this is not firing up. Maybe it is, and I just don't know it. There we go. I'll try it once more. There we go. Now I see the wheel spinning. Here we go. It's Pocket Lints. Thank you so much for stopping by. You have an awesome day. Yeah, if you love this stuff, I will, man, crap, I'll stream more of this stuff. Why not? This is where we hurry up and wait. Oh, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I do love teaching, and I love sharing this stuff. All right, here we go. Okay. So you see earlier I did a side scroller test, but we're going to start from scratch here because it just seems like the right thing to do. Oops, lost my chat. Okay, so we're going to start out by creating a new project. We're going to go to games. We're going to start a new game in our development journey. Use one of the example levels. We're going to hit next. And the level we're going to choose. And so what we went over in class today was the choices here are side scroller, which uses 3D assets, 2D side scroller, which uses obviously 2D assets or sprites. And then there is a top-down map. So the top-down map's a little bit different. I haven't used a ton of it, but basically it's a point and click. So you can click where you want the player to go, or I'm sure use a controller as well. But we're just for the sake of this one, just to keep everything simple on a 2-week project, because really students could kind of overscope so easily on this. We're just going to do the 2D side scroller and click next on that bad boy. As far as Blueprints or C++, we're going to choose Blueprints because I do not know C++. Performance and quality on your project, I'm just going to leave it on maximum quality because my computer does pretty decent with it. But if you have a lower end computer, really you can set it to scalable 3D or 2D and it will be less CPU intensive, kind of makes life easier for you. When choosing desktop or console, we'll just stick with desktop and we'll just leave the starter content in because why not? And then we are going to name this project. We'll name it, oh my goodness. I keep touching my controller. There we go. We'll name it Side Scroller Test 002 because this is my second version of it. Create project and then let that project create itself. Okay, here we go. A lot of times I tell my students, start with paper, kind of draw some of the ideas. If it's inspired from a game, even drawing out some of the existing levels within that game and trying to like do a recreation of them is actually a great way to start generating ideas for this. But we'll show you what they kind of kick you off with in your starter content here. If this ever gets going. And someday I may try to re-edit this to cut out all the boring stuff. Okay, so right off the bat, you see here's the text right here for the side scrollers template. I love it when my students leave this in and all you see is like side scroller template and then these same exact existing blocks that come in standard with that template. And then they'll add a couple more things and say done. But no, you don't want to do that. So let's check out right off the bat. Let's just hit play on this. And I'm going to grab my old controller and you can see I'm going to click on the screen. You can see you can just run around. You have everything set up. This is everything we need to get started. He jumps. You can see you have some pretty crappy platform setup here. One of the things I wanted to point out, and this, look at this jump too. You like barely make it. So when you're talking about metrics, that's fine. If you jump even too late, you're not going to make that jump. So it's not the most friendly jump ever. But you see the jump height, the head goes kind of just above that. So underneath here, that's not bad. So that's actually not a bad jump height. You kind of almost hit your head on it, but not quite. But when it starts you out, this is what you see. And we kind of talked about in a good 2D game, you kind of want to have everything, you at least want to have some idea of what the level's about. And so if you look at like, we've been playing Metroid Dread, and the Samus character is actually pretty small on the screen. And that's so you have enough visual indicators to kind of have an idea of where you want to travel to in the game. So I think this general setup right here, this camera view, is pretty good if it's kind of a linear game where you're just moving kind of left and right. Maybe you're jumping over a couple things as you approach it. But for something where you're maybe building some puzzle platforming, maybe you want to pull the camera out a little bit more. John Colart, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome to the party. Great to see you stopping by. We're gonna create a couple simple objects in Unreal Engine. We're gonna make a simple moving ping pong platform, and a simple enemy for a level design class I teach. So what I'm going to do here, first of all, we're going to go over how to adjust the camera, which isn't incredibly difficult. Up here in the world outliner, you can either look for this character, which is the side scroller character. You can either go into the content browser and start typing side scroller character, which he's right down here, or it's kind of handy if you select on him in the viewport. Up here under side scroller character, you can click on edit side scroller character, and you can see it'll open up your editor. This is the event graph, which is pretty simple. His controller, basically there's a jump connection, and then there's a move left or right connection. So when you look at the third person character, there's a lot more movement built into that. But this one is relatively simple. So we're going to go to the viewport here. I'm going to minimize the screen a little bit, but you can see within the viewport that they have the camera positioned over here to the side. And so to actually move that camera back a little bit to where it's framed maybe a little bit more preferably, we can actually just slide that camera straight back away from the character, and that will change the camera view when we play it. So I'm just going to hit compile and save. And now up here, if we hit play, you can see now the camera is much further back from me. And I like this because right now I can start to see some of the platforming to the left, to the right. Up above, I can start to see the top of a platform up top. It gives me a lot more indication of where to go within this level. And especially if I do start creating some creative platforming, as much as it's kind of a bummer that I can't see my player as closely as I could before, it's kind of nice that he's a little bit further back. He's actually kind of centered on the screen. I think I might actually want to... I'm gonna leave him right where he is. John Collart, thank you so much for the follow. John Collart, I am not as familiar as I could be with the camera stuff. Enough to get me in trouble, really. And a lot of the times working for Disney, I was actually very familiar with the tools that we had in our engine there. So whatever I'm not familiar with, I'm pretty adept at studying and finding out. So working on it. 3D Mentor says, "Go to bed, Boomer." Dude, you, how dare you? How dare you? Arcaticus, how are you doing, my friend? I'm setting up the basics of a 2D platformer. Here's one of the things I'm going to point out really quick. Is look at this. They set me up in the template as just this big massive box. I actually hate it. I hate that there's so much negative space in the background of this without anything like buildings or anything kind of parallaxing behind it. So one of the things you can do really quick before we make the platforms is actually, I'm just going to grab this back wall here. If I hit F, it'll focus in on it. And I'm just going to move it forward. I'm just going to grab this thing, slide it forward a little bit, and watch how much this changes the feel, like immediately. This feels much more different. I actually prefer kind of like this starting point, and I kind of wonder even in so we can make that taller or shorter, but actually I wouldn't even mind changing the color of the background to make the platform stand out even a little bit more. So we're just going to mess with it a little bit. John Collart says, "I'm working on a project trying to get the camera locked on to enemies and offset to the right." Oh, I would love to be able to hop in and help you with that. But unfortunately, maybe another time. Do you stream, John Collart? Okay, just because I know I'm going to use some materials in a moment, I'm just going to create a default material. Just keep everything simple. Oh, that's cool. I'll have to shoot you. I'll shoot you a follow. Shall I do that right now? Do you stream a lot of Unreal type stuff? Game development? All right, you have been followed, my friend. Oh, so you are you at the EU? Are you in EAE? You're probably in one of my classes. And I'm just a turd and don't realize what's going on. Okay. So really quick, yeah, I'm going to change the color on this without going and doing anything crazy in my content. Oh, you're going to BYU. That's awesome. So let's create a new material. And we'll call this matte background color. The Cursed Flame, thank you so much for the follow. Where is that? Where? Oh man, I think I messed it up. Okay, there we go. Matte background color. And we will quickly just create a simple color on here. Using a constant 3 vector because they're fun. Why they call it a constant 3 vector. So I was thinking about just doing this like a light blue or something. We'll see how weird this looks. But I want it to stand out and create some contrast with the platforms. And so we'll hit OK. Bada bing, bada boom. Got you all saved up and nice. So we're going to select this cube material. Instead, we'll use matte background. Where are you? There we go. Matte background color. Okay, so that's kind of creating. Let's see how that looks just really quick. All right, so we have, it's a little bit different. Makes everything stand out a little bit more. I think eventually I'd like to change the ground color as well. Go Mario Sky Blue. I think that might be kind of close. I don't know. Okay. Okay, so needless to say, now I can basically, I like how it sets you up, kind of frames you out with this like simple little platforming section. Reminds me of some of the, like the when I was creating like some Smash Brothers like play sets for Disney Infinity. We set up some simple little scenarios like this that the player could just set out and create a quick little Smash Brothers setup. Needless to say, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a platform because that's what we came here for. We're already, what, 40 minutes into the stream, and I haven't even gotten to the meat and potatoes yet. So right here in the content, we're going to create a blueprint class. This is going to be the start of our platform here. And we're going to click on actor. We're going to call this, we'll just call it object platform to make it simple. And this is going to be the start of our platform. So right off the bat, I'm just going to throw this into my scene. I like to throw things into my scene just to see the scaling of it. And now as we play with this object, double click on it to edit it, we can kind of see what it looks like in the scene. For this project, I'm using 4.27. Okay, so here we want to create a platform. So we're just going to create add component and create a cube. Here we go. Beautiful cube. You can see it pop open right in the scene. And we're going to scale this down a little bit. So we want to squish it down on the Z axis. I think Z's up, right? In Unreal. Let's try 0.2, see what that looks like. 0.2 looks pretty good. And this, by default, if you look at the platform, since this is a side scroller, it doesn't need to be really deep. But for my platform, that is a little bit narrow. So I'm going to actually set it right against this block to kind of see where it fits in. And if I hit play, you can see that is kind of hard to land on. That's going to be miserable to try and land on in game as a single cube shape. So I want to stretch it out just a little bit. So let's go back into here under the platform section and under, I think it's this one, we'll hit 2 and we can immediately see, yes, that stretches it out a little bit wider. So let's test this puppy again. So a little bit better. I think we could go longer, but it feels landable, like it's something we could land on. So we'll stick with that for now. So now we need to make this thing move. We want it to ping pong back and forth. So what we're gonna add on here, add component. I'm trying to remember everything I need to do, but I think we need to add an interpolation component. There we go. Interp to movement. So we're going to interpolate some movement on this bad boy. And over here, if we select that interp mode, you've got, let's see, scroll down. You should have some types in here. Categories, default duration is 1, teleport type, 1 shot, between type, behavior type. So it could either interp one time or we can adjust it. Do we actually want this thing to ping pong? So it will ping pong back and forth, bada bing, bada boom. That's what we're going for, just to make a simple moving platform. The other thing we could do is we could create an animation for it, but I find this is much easier because we can create 2 locator points so that we can choose the distance that we want it to travel and then the duration for how long we want it to travel to from X from the two distance. So we're gonna hit compile on that. We've got the interp to movement. Now we're gonna go into our construction script, and as it's constructed, it's gonna build some components for us to use. So from that construction strip, we want to grab this interp to movement, bring that down, and we want to create a set control points. Let's see if it comes up. Actually, I think before we even do this, we want to do something else. I want to create a couple variables. I'm not sure the order that I need to create these, so this is part of the fun of remembering how to do stuff in Blueprints, is I want to create a couple variables. So I'm going to hit create one first. We're going to look for a vector because this is the position that that we want this thing to move back and forth from. And we'll just go ahead and create one more variable too. And we're going to name this location 1 and location 2. Location 01, and this bad boy will be location 02. And something we want to check off when we create these location variables is we want them to be instance editable. So if we create instances of this actor, we can go in and they can have unique variables in here. Oh, excuse me. And then we want to click on show 3D widget so we can see it in our play space, which is kind of cool. So we're going to call this instant editable, add the 3D widget. So actually now if I go into here, let's see if they appear for me. They may not appear yet, but we'll see if they do. Okay, so I haven't compiled. There we go. So I just compiled it, and here you can see location 1 and location 2 are now in my editable scene. So this is basically the start and end point for this platform. So I wanted to start here and end over here. Essentially, that's where I'm going to create the start and end point, which makes this is much easier than creating an animation with defined keyframes where it's only going to go to one position and the other, and then you have to create a unique animation for every single platform you make, right? So now really what I can do is grab another platform, bring it into my scene, which I'm going to place it over here. We'll do a couple of them, because now I can place this one over here. We'll place it on top here. And you see this could be the starting point there. Or let's move this off to the side. Or even we'll just set it down below here. Like right there. So I could potentially fall off. That could be a starting point, but then I can also just grab one of these locators and slide it up and say, I want this thing to travel, say, up to here, right? So now it's the same moving platform, but I can edit those parameters so it can kind of do what I need it to do. So I do need one more variable I'm going to create right now for the duration. So right now by default, this interp to movement is set at 1 second, which means it's going to bounce ping pong from each side in 1 second. So it's going to be a little bit fast. So I want a variable so I can control that speed and be editable with that as well. So I'm going to click on variable again, and this one I'm going to call duration, and we'll use it in just a moment. And we'll create a float here. So we just have a set number here. Okay, so here we go. So to start this off, the construction script, we have our interp to movement. So I want a set control points. So let's see if we can create that. Oh, I think before we do this, there's a couple things. There's a couple things I have to do, and I apologize. I have to remember everything here. Is in this interp to movement, we actually have to create control points to it. So I haven't created control points, so I have nothing to control yet. So I need to be able to attach these variables, these control points, to that interp to movement node. So on this, I'm going to create one here. So it has 2 members now. And I believe one more. So that should actually, that 2 members, that should be the control points. So let's see if that works now. Okay, so I'm having a trouble seeing exactly what I needed one out of those. Actually, let's try the interp movement. That might be what I need to set. Control points. There we go. Okay, so I need to grab it out of interp to movement. And set control points right here. So there's a reset control points, set constraints. Let's find control points. Reset, set control points right down here under variable controls. So we have the set duration and the set control points. So we're going to click on that. That's what we wanted, right? And when this constructs, we want this to kick off, set those control points. I need to create an array for those. So let's see if I can pull location 1 and location 2. Actually, here's the way you do it. Let's say make array. Because we want to pipe these control points into this section here. So we're going to make our array, pump it into here. I need to add a pin, bada bing, bada boom. So these will be our 2 control points. And let's see if we can find make interp control point right there. Boom. So we have our first one for our first control point. You can see you could just put in a position, but we're not going to do that. And then this one is make interp control point. Beautiful. And now I'm going to take location 1, drop it right here on that bad boy. Location 2, drop it right here on this one, so that interp constant node knows exactly what to do. And then now I want to set the duration, right? So this one I need to set duration, which is our variable down below. We're going to set the duration. When that kicks off, it'll daisy chain. It'll set my locators. It'll set my duration. And I'm going to grab this duration node and pop it right into here. There we go. So this should be everything we need to get this working. B Minutes, thank you so much for the sub, my friend. So many subs, so delicious. Big shout out to B Minutes. One of my best friends in the whole world. And a fellow educator. Okay, so will this work? I don't know. I think it will. I think it will. I think we have all the makings of a movable platform. A little step-by-step direction. Anybody watching this can kind of rewatch and go through the system. We're going to compile this bad boy. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen when I hit play? It's anybody's guess. Where's that other locator at? I thought I moved this locator. There it is. It's over here. Okay, so I'm going to move my player character out of the way so it doesn't get hit by that. So I'm going to move him up on top of this platform here. Okay, and we'll hit play. Oh, look at that! Look at that. It's a thing of beauty. The This is awesome. My platform is like jiggling. I don't know what that means, but look at that. It kind of, when I stand on it, my player goes, whoa, what's going on? So let's try and figure this out. And I can't jump off of it either. Awesome. Let's see what the other one's doing. Oh, it shot to the other side. I love it. It just makes sense. Okay. This one is not, it is kind of, oh, maybe it's moving so fast. So let's check out the duration on this. Maybe we can set a default on this bad boy. So if we look at the default variable for the duration, it's set to 0.0. Maybe that's the problem. I'm not sure. Let's set it to a more reasonable time. So let's just set the, yeah, the speed is, John Collart says the speed is crazy fast. So we're going to set this to maybe 5 seconds. We'll make it nice and slow. I actually, one of my pet peeves with early level design is really fast platforms. They drive me nuts. Normal speed is 24 frames per second. Well, let's try this. So I think the idea is that the duration, it'll move ping pong between them every 5 seconds, right? So let's hit play. Let's see, compile, save. And what's happening now? Look at that. Oh, snap. They're ping-ponging back and forth. 5 seconds feels pretty snappy here. And moving up and down at a reasonable speed now. So we're using that ping-pong node so it kind of bounces back and forth between these way stations. So the nuts and bolts, that is how you make a moving platform really simply, really quickly in Unreal. There are a million things we could do to this now to change and adjust and make it do a lot of different things. But I try to teach my classes and not overwhelm students with way too much. But I also like to teach that once you've kind of learned some basic principles of how to do something, we can then adjust it into something else. So just so I can show you, once you have an instance of this in your scene, that duration speed that I set up, I'm pretty sure I made that editable. There's my locations. So we should be able to, in here, just by selecting this platform, adjust the duration, which if I can't, I need to fix that. So let's look in here, this duration, speed. Oh, it's not visible. That was it. So I didn't make it instanceable. So by default, it's 5. I'm going to change that to instance and to see it in the blueprint. So now if I compile and save, if I click on either of these instances of that object in here, now you can see the duration is now an editable thing. So I can make this up and down one move at 10 seconds instead. And I can make this side-to-side version go 3 seconds if I want it to move very fast. I don't have to go in and create a new platform for that, right? So I can just hit play now. Bada bing, bada boom. Now that one's moving much faster. And this one over here should be twice as slow now. Yep. So you can see how powerful that is now, that I can create moving platforms throughout my entire level only using one instance of the exact same platform. So now I could have two pinging back and forth against each other. There's so many scenarios I could create just with this. But one of the things I wanted to go over is how to quickly create an enemy now, quickly out of this moving platform. So, so I'm going to hit escape. I'm actually going to move this one out of the way. Actually, I'm going to leave it where it is, but I'm going to move this locator up so it moves up a little bit higher. But so I want to create a quick little enemy. Basically, what's kind of nice about enemies that work really quick in prototyping, giving them a little movement actually brings life to the entire project. So I want to create an evil little enemy that's going to move back and forth on the ground underneath this existing platform. So what I'm going to do that is I'm just going to right click on this platform that I've already created. The code is already set up. I now know I have those locators set up so I can make it go back and forth. In regarding that, if you wanted to make the platform get bigger and smaller, you would just add to that. As far as like making the object scale, let's find out. I think you should be able to actually scale the platform itself, and that should be editable. Let's find out. So you can actually just scale it. that cube, and the other one stays exactly the same. Since it's an instance object, you can adjust the size and scale of it, which is pretty cool. So any shape changes you wanted to make, you could, that is a part of that editable instance. So yes, absolutely. I could have just left it at that basic cube size, but you find that kind of metric that you want to keep. Oh, adjust the size while it's moving. Yeah, I think technically you could pipe in some variables into the scale, yeah, and have that ping pong as well. But that's neither here nor there. We're gonna recreate this platform now. We're gonna create something new. So I'm gonna duplicate this, and we're gonna call it. We'll just call it object enemy. Enemy. Let's call it enemy crawl. This is going to be our little crawler character. So we'll double click this bad boy, and you can see in our viewport right now we have that Dimitri Max Moff-Galahad. Thank you so much for the follow. You are a gentleman and a scholar. We're just going to delete that original platform. We're not going to use that. So I want to create a little bad enemy. And so I'm going to start with I'm going to add a component here. And we'll just add a cone. I want a cone. Where's a cone? I'll just start typing in cone. Because I want it to be spiky. I want it to be kind of scary. So we're going to add a cone here. And we're going to duplicate this cone. Rotate it. There we go. So that it really indicates that, hey, if you step on this thing, you're not going to have a great time. And we'll raise this up. We'll duplicate one more. And we can see if we may need to scale these. I don't know. I want the idea that this is kind of this little creature here crawling around. I've been playing a lot of Metroid Dread, so it kind of makes sense that there would be a creepy little creature. And one more component, we're going to grab a sphere. Bada bing, bada boom. We'll leave this where it is, actually. So we'll bring this down. Bring this over. And bring this over. All right, let's see how this looks. It's important to me that these cones look as scary as possible. All right, so let's grab our little enemy here. Let's compile and save. And let's throw it into the scene. All right, kind of huge, kind of a big enemy, but I kind of like it. We can always scale this down too. Yeah, I think he's too big. I'm gonna adjust him a little bit because I'm picky that way. Okay, let's scale these down to 0.75. 0.75. There we go. And what the heck, we'll just delete these because this is the size I want. Bear with me here. This is where the artistry comes in. Since this isn't in class anymore, class is like over. Oh, I actually renamed that to W. And that one's E. Fantastic. I love it. Since class is over, I can take as long as I want on this stuff. I don't have to worry about students getting bored and taking off and running away. Kind of makes my job easier here. Okay, so this looks scary to me. Looks kind of creepy. Come on, buddy. There we go. I like it. I'm starting to like it. Okay. Definitely wouldn't want to jump on that. Okay, so I also want this to be red. Oh, look at that. It's huge still. Should scale the whole thing down. You know what? Whatever. We're going to leave it. We're going to leave it just like that. It just makes sense. We can always scale it down at post. Okay, so we're gonna grab this and we're gonna get a new color. I want something red. So we're gonna make a duplicate of our material. And we're gonna call it matte enemy red. Constraints. Here we go. We'll just color this nice red. Here we go. Boop, bada bing, bada boom. Oh, it's the wrong color. That's fine. I didn't push one of the buttons. We'll change the color in just a second. Oh my gosh. All right, now let's fix that color that I messed up. So enemy red. Oh, did we not save it? Guess we didn't save it. There we go. Compile and save. Let's look at this in game. Let's run around. This is great. So we have this creepy little crawling dude here, and we want it to hurt you. So you can see right now it's not moving, but we do have these locator constraints here. The locators, we can do the same thing we did to the other one. So we're gonna make it crawl back and forth because it's something we don't want to jump on, right? And now if we hit play again, you can see that it is crawling along the ground. Perfect. So now we can make duplicates of these. This enemy will crawl on the ground. So what we need to do is we need to make it so if you touch this guy, he resets the game. That's going to be the simplest approach, I think. So to do that, I need to make sure that this little dude has a nice trigger volume attached to him. I could probably just leave it as is, just with its existing collision, but we're going to give it a new collision. So I'm going to give it, by default, I'm going to select these guys and see if I can just, I can't remember if I can do this all at the same time, but I want to turn off their collision. So we're going to set the collision type to no collision on these objects, and I'm going to create a new collision sphere. Oops, I'm going to add component, sphere collision right there. Here's our sphere collision. I'm going to scale this up. Oh my gosh, I just named it R. I hate that I keep doing that. Drives me nuts. It's R. I have to rename it. Okay, there we go. Now let's scale this. There's our collision. We're going to make it nice and big. So make sure that if you touch this thing, it's going to take you out. It's dangerous. Okay. Compile and save. And then for the collision itself, select it. Collision overlapping all dynamic. That works. It'll overlap all dynamic. So right now, if we hit play again, you can see that, oh, that pushes you around. Kind of hard to even get hit by this thing, but right now you're just passing right through it. Doesn't look like anything. We want it to make you hurt. We want to make you restart the level. So this we're actually going to use the same tech from the coin pickup. Essentially, when you collected a coin, it destroyed itself and disappeared, but we want to do something a little bit different. So we're going to go back to our side scroller character. because that's what we want to look for. We want to look and check and see if our side scroll character has run into that enemy, and then we want to reset the level. So let's do that. Let's edit our side scroller character. Let's go into our event graph right here where there's not a whole ton of stuff. And we're going to create a very simple, very simple reset blueprint for this character. And so what we want is an event begin overlap, our actor begin overlap, actor begin overlap. We want to cast this to our enemy. What do we call that? Crawling enemy? Our enemy crawl. We're going to cast to our enemy crawl. And we want to look for that. That's our wild card, is our object. And what we want to do is open a level. This is a simple way. We're going to do it by name. And our level is called Side Scroller Example Map because that's what we're using. So we're just going to change this name to Side Scroller Side Scroller Example Map. Boom. Make sure that that's typed in correctly, and this should do the trick. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, my friend. We'll see if this works. Hopefully it will. We'll compile that and save. And then maybe we'll do something a little extra to this too. But let's hit play. And we just want the level to reset if it touches. And boom, it resets your level. And we restart at the beginning like you should. We're going to kind of piggyback onto this tech next week to build out some checkpoints. But I kind of wanted to do something else. I want to kind of like at least have a little bit of visual feedback when you touch that enemy. So by default in the starter pack, we can use some particle emitters, some explosion and sound. So we're going to set that up. So before that happens, so there's a little bit of a delay. So it'll kind of kick off an explosion, a delay, and then reset the game, so that it's not as abrupt here. This is kind of the juice that you at least can set up a little bit of, even in the prototyping stage, to make it feel a little bit more juicy, I guess. So we're going to go back to our this section here. So we're looking for the overlap when it casts to the enemy crawl. Before we have this kick off, we want it to do a little bit of something else. So we're going to have it... let's see, what do we want to do? This has not been planned at all. We want it to spin. We wanted to spit off a. We wanted to spit off an emitter, spawn an emitter, right? Asmodeus, thank you so much, my good friend, for the follow. You are a gentleman and a scholar. So let's spawn an emitter at location. Bada bing, bada boom. Location. Let's see if we can get player location. Is that possible? Get player. Get character location. Huh. How do we get the location? We're gonna have to figure that out. I'm sure we can do it. I'm sure we can figure it out. We'll figure it out in just a moment. Get actor location. Maybe that'll work. So that it kicks off from our player. There we go. Get actor location. Here we are. Boom. We'll try this. So this is the emitter. Let's look for an explosion. So that'll kick off. After the explosion, we want it to play a sound. So we're going to spawn in a sound 2D. And by default, we're going to choose an explosive sound as well. Explosion 1 or Explosion 2, we could choose either. And we're going to pipe this into a location here. I said spawn sound 2D. What we actually want to do is spawn sound at location. I messed that up. And then, okay, let's see what happens here. So this should just play the sound. We've detached the open level. So every time I enter this, it should explode. I'm going to move this out of the way real quick. Sly Tie, thank you so much for the host, my good friend. To 9 viewers. So is it a raid? What's the difference between getting hosted and raided? I'm curious. Okay, so here we go. Oh, snap. See that every time I touch it? That's kind of cool. Every time I touch him now, it kicks off a little explosion, and it should be kicking off a sound too, but I can't hear it for some weird reason. But it's kind of doing what we want it to. Sly Tie, what were you up to tonight, my friend? Big shout out to Sly Tie. I'm not sure what they were streaming, but I bet it was awesome. Okay, so it's doing what we want it to. We're taking baby steps through this process, but now we want it to reset the player. But you were doing some leet code type stuff. Holy smoke! So Sly Tie is somebody who is much smarter than I am. Oh, interesting. God Game says raid takes all the viewers over automatically. Host gives people the option to join if they want to. Well, God Games and everyone stopping by, I appreciate you choosing to come over to my stream tonight. I am surprised the amount of viewers we have is fantastic. I need to do more of these production streams. Okay, so we're going to set up a little bit of delay. So we want to give the chance for that explosion and that sound to play. Which, let me see, was my sound just not working? No, my sound is working. Why isn't this sound playing? At location. Select, oh, I didn't select an asset. It's okay, so let's grab Explosion 1. We didn't grab our sound, that was a problem. So after it spawns a particle effect and then spawns our sound, we then want this bad boy to delay. So we're gonna create a little bit of a delay. All right, so, and we're gonna guess, so right now it's set at 0.2, so 0.2 seconds. We're gonna change that. Let's try a half a second. Maybe that's too long, maybe it's too short. We'll find out. And then we'll pipe that into our open level by name. And this is just adding a little bit more fluff, a little more juice to our little enemy here. The simplest little enemy in the world. He's just running around back and forth. Okay, and to start off, I'm actually sick of this guy. I'm going to delete him altogether. We can always put a new platform in. But now we're kicking off our game. We're walking along, and there's my enemy. I hit it. Ah, that's better. I think for a prototype, that's not too bad. All right, so reading some of the chat here. You need to choose Raid next time. You're all good, my friend. Oh, Sly Tie, I appreciate that. You always wanted to get into game dev, but never had time. I hear you. There's no time for the present. And there's nothing better than actually teaching level design classes for university that helps you could be forced to repeat a lot of stuff too. I'm reading some of this. Rip Chip 3 says, so when do we make our millions? Tomorrow. We'll make it tomorrow. Is there a name for this game? Yes, it's called Unreal Side-Scroller Demo Game. So essentially, I know we have a lot of people popping into this. I teach a level design course for the University of Utah. And actually, I had a lecture earlier today on 2D side-scroller games, which could be 2D or 3D, regardless, side-scroller games in general. And so the next step of the process is my students are going to take 2 weeks to block out a 2D level. And we're starting with the basic 2D side-scroller template that Unreal Engine has. And so today I'm just going over adjusting your camera, creating a simple platform that is editable, instanced and editable, and creating a very simple enemy prototype. So basically, they don't have to worry as much about the code, and they can build something cool. And they will be bringing their first passes next week to playtest with the students and myself, and then turning it in 2 weeks later. Well, we'll probably do a stream playing some of the creations that my students have made. God Game said there are 2 chapters into an intro to Python book. Yeah, that sounds, Python is a tough nut to crack. So let's see, what are we going to do here? So we run around, this guy's still killing us. That's fantastic. I kind of like that. It's good enough for now. All right, Sly Tie, thank you so much for the follow. You once again are a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you so much for the raid as well. That is so awesome. I probably am just about done. The nice thing is now that I've created this little enemy, so let's say just for fun, so I can see where this locator goes up to here, where a new platform is. So now I can say that maybe we'll just adjust this a little bit, and we're gonna get rid of that one altogether. That maybe this one up here, that platform brings me up to here. And then maybe I want to get across to this side. I'm just spitballing some stuff out here. We're not taking this too seriously. And then I'm going to create another moving platform out here. So not much jumping involved. We'll have it go straight from one side to the other. We basically have created some components where we can do almost anything we want at this point. So let's take this locator. This is by default, we have this set at a duration of 5 seconds. Did that grab a locator? Okay, so now we can just grab this locator, drag it across. It's going to take you the platform from this side, and we'll get rid of that goober too. And we'll bring us back on over to here. And maybe what we'll do is we'll say the finish line maybe is over here for the moment. And as the final little challenge here, we're going to put one of these little boogers ping-ponging back and forth on this guy. The thing that we could do now is, like, if you're thinking this is kind of like a Metroid style game, is really this little Yahoo could be doing several things. Put one locator over here and one over here. He could be on the ceilings. He could be on the side of the walls. You could rotate him and do almost anything. RipChip3 says, thoughts on Unity? Unity's awesome. I'm not as familiar with it. So I spent 8+ years as a level designer working for Disney Interactive. And I am used to the visual scripting. So the game engine we used on all the Disney games was very similar to Unreal. And so yeah, I believe Unity uses C#, and it's very coding intensive. So engineers love it because they can iterate and prototype really quickly. I believe they're coming out with a full scripting system similar to Blueprints, but I have not. I've jumped into it just a little bit. So who's a level 400 chess player? All right, I missed a lot of fun stuff. Yeah, Sly Tie, you're right. Unity is C+, C#, and Unreal is... Wait, did I mess that up? Unreal is C++. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's see how this quick little scenario plays out. Now that we have a couple different platforms, these little dangerous dudes... we're kind of taking this easy. So now we can jump over that guy because he'll kill you every time. And here we have this little platform that will scooch me on up slowly, ever so slowly. You like the Peppa Pig art? I'm a pro at drawing Peppa Pig. Okay, we'll scooch you up there. We can jump across to here. Now we're going to make our way across our platform. We're telling a real narrative here. This is the bare bones. But you can see the thing I wanted to show off to my students here is just by creating a platform, just by creating one little enemy that will kill you or reset you or set you back to a checkpoint. Really, though, that's the rough nuts and bolts that you can really kind of really tell a narrative story with some gameplay on it. I think I wouldn't even mind moving my camera back a little further. But now we have this little puzzle here where now I have to time my jump a little bit to try and not hit this guy and jump to the finish line. There we go. All right, my beautiful friends. So it is well past midnight for this old boomer, and I have to wake up early to do some more teaching in the morning. I'll be covering this stuff again tomorrow night in a level 9 design class. So much like anything else, through repetition, you learn how to do things faster, quicker, better, stronger. And I'll be doing it again. I'd like to thank everyone who hopped in to keep me company while I was recording these demos for my students. Sly Tie, thank you so much for the host. We'll go ahead and call it a raid because I'm used to that. But you all are awesome. I'm going to head off. I should go ahead. God Games, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and I was going to play some Metroid Dread, but I'm worried that I'll have trouble waking up, so I'll have to save that for tomorrow. But I'm going to go ahead and forward on the love to someone else. We should find someone else who's streaming game dev and pass on the raid. If anyone has any suggestions, I'm all ears. Otherwise, I'm going to search for somebody. All right, let's see. We want browse. What was I? Oh my goodness. Hold on. Wait. What was I streaming under? Oh, category, software and development. Okay, perfect. I thought there was a tag for that, software and game development. Okay. I wanted to make sure I wasn't streaming like under Mario Maker 2, which I always am. Okay, here we go. There is me. That's great. And looks like a lot of people are midweek productivity. Let's go. Rita Riggs, Pixel Art Brain, Jar Buddy. John Call Art, you're awesome. Unity Blender Game Dev Level Design. That kind of sounds fun, doesn't it? Oh, I love all the game developments going on here. Game Dev and Crappy Games by El Macho. Making an RPG game. I'm getting too picky here. I think we should just say maybe hi to Rita Riggs. She's rigging! What do you think? Do you guys want to check out someone who's rigging or level design? Or do you care? Nobody cares. Okay. I think rigging sounds fun. Rita Riggs. All right, let's say hello to... I can't do it. I can't do rigging. We need to do level design. All right, Unity Blender. No, they don't have a face cam. I hate this. I hate choosing. Why can't somebody just tell me who to choose? Rigging in Maya or Blender? I don't know what it is. NFT, and if someone's doing NFTs, improving water jump. Day 302. Haciendo. Phaser After Realms. There's a lot of people. Game Dev E4 Animation Blueprint plus Combat. Just chilling. What are you doing? Is there anyone else doing level design? All right. All right, my friends. Incarnate English 3D modeling. Oh, man. All right. I just need to rigging. You're gonna be rigging later. Oh, you're awesome. No, you're good. We're gonna take a stab in the dark, and we're gonna raid Incarne. Tell them I said hello. Tell them the Checkpoint Professor sent you. And we're gonna raid. We're not gonna host. I'm gonna raid. I'm gonna force whoever I can into the raid. Oh, you're rigging later, John Collart? Well, let me know next time and I'll raid you. 3, 2, 1. Everybody have an awesome night. We will chat with you soon. Oh, you will be doing level design. Oh, man. I wish I'd known.